Net neutrality repeal lingers over CES despite Pi's absence. FCC officials on Tuesday discussed the implications of net neutrality repeal during one of the world's largest tech gatherings. Walking through the display floor aisles at the Las Vegas Convention Center and the surrounding hotels and casinos, it's easy to get swept up in the sheer number of companies that have made the pilgrimage to Sin City to provide attendees of the Consumer Electronics Show a glimpse into the future. It's also easy to forget, for better or worse, all of the discussions going on hundreds of miles away in the nation's capital, particularly as it relates to net neutrality, that could impact the way many of the more than 4,000 companies at CES 2018 do business in the U.S. The convention has made an effort to loop government officials into the tech conversation. The Consumer Technology Association, which helps organize the annual tech conference, estimates more than 170 elected or appointed officials will be on hand throughout the week. And, indeed, appearances by Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao and Maureen Lawson, the acting chair of the Federal Trade Commission, represented a clear acknowledgement from the public sector that the trends and ideas being discussed at CES don't exist in a silo. As the country has seen with the onset of drone technology and early experiments with driverless vehicles, at some point the government needs to have a seat at the table. Notable, though, were some of the absentees. Federal Communications Commissioner Ajit Pai was a no-show at the event, though he was initially scheduled to speak on a panel with Lawson. Reports of death threats in the aftermath of his decision to repeal the Obama-era net neutrality standards are believed to have factored into his decision to withdraw from the conference. FTC Commissioner Terrell McSweeney was also missing from her scheduled panel appearance with several FCC commissioners. What those absences left was a Lawson and a trio of FCC officials to attempt to explain how the country will move forward without the net neutrality guardrails in place. "We're very far apart on this particular issue, and that's okay," said FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr. The FCC's leadership last month voted 3-2 to dismantle Obama-era regulations that were designed to ensure internet service providers like Comcast, Verizon and AT&T would not be able to prioritize or punish any single company or service using their infrastructure. The vote was considered a key win for telecommunications titans. FCC also decided to delegate some oversight of private sector internet operations to the FTC going forward, a move critics argued inappropriately redistributed a congressionally mandated responsibility. That senior FCC and FTC officials at the last minute backed out of one of the largest tech gatherings on the planet so soon after making such a controversial decision was notable. But, as the FCC commissioners pointed out during a roundtable discussion on Tuesday, the fight isn't quite over yet. "We're going to have this item be digested at the Office of Management and Budget for the purposes of the transparency rule. And that's going to take some time, I assume in my head a couple of months," said FCC Commissioner Michael O'Reilly. "There will be some votes in the Congress to look at the appropriateness of our actions as the law allows, and we'll see where it goes after that into the court process." Indeed, Democrats in the Senate have been mounting an effort to overturn the FCC's ruling, and Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins this week announced that she'd reach across the aisle to join her colleagues. Whether the measure could get through the House and whether President Donald Trump would withhold an eventual veto remains to be seen. But O'Reilly speculated there's probably at least another year or so of deliberations before the country ends up with a finalized path forward. O'Reilly and Carr, who both voted to scrap the net neutrality standards, were joined by Commissioner Mignon Clyburn, who has been vocal in recent weeks about her opposition to the FCC's final decision. "It should come as no surprise that I was on the other side of the debate when it comes to what I call the Destroying Internet Freedom Order," Clyburn said Tuesday at CES. The discussion between Clyburn and her colleagues at times became heated, particularly when controversial topics like net neutrality and a potential rewrite of the Telecommunications Act Both of Clyburn's colleagues argued net neutrality repeal would drive further investment in tech, against her concerns that it would create an unfair playing field tilted toward telecom giants. The sparring concluded, though, on a note of respect, which Clyburn said doesn't happen as nearly as often as it should during particularly polarizing times. We try to come together and bring the best, and sometimes the not-so-best of what we have to offer, and hopefully come to a place where we have good policy. Sausage making is not pretty, nor is it easy, Clyburn said. I don't question my colleagues' desire to change the world for the better. I never will.